This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Right out of the door!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Because I'm the Mark, and I'm awesome!
The Guru.
Today I'm going to break it down for all you simpleton sweat hogs listening out there in Can Crusher Nation. I don't mean to come out here week after week and toot my own horn, but toot.
And the English Professor.
It is I, the English Professor from the County of Kings, speaking the English of the Queen.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And welcome back to another Can Crusher Spotlight. Joining me this week again, this is just an every week occurrence, is the English Professor. John, how are you doing?
You get some heavy hitters on this show, Mark, so that's when I need to be present, is when the heavy hitters are on here, and when I can make it.
You make it most of the time. You really do anymore.
I try.
And this is a big heavy hitter, John. IWC Rookie. And I might throw it out there already saying possibly 2020's Rookie of the Year. We're going to be speaking with A1 Anthony Young, and he's got a lot going on with him right now.
Yeah, he's definitely a candidate, if not a shoo-in, definitely a candidate for Rookie of the Year. He has a lot of explaining to do. When you think about what took place at the Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling Classic on December 5th, I definitely want to ask him about that.
Yeah, for sure. We saw him all year just battling people. Him and Johnny Patch in a match together. They were tag teams. I thought he could be the next Super Indie. Things just didn't work out. There's just so much going on with Anthony Young, and I can't wait to get into this.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential, and he's had some hard-fought battles. But we've had this discussion, Mark. IWC is pass or fail, and you don't get points for putting up a good fight. You get the win or you get the loss. So he has made a career decision, and we're going to get into that. But he definitely has some explaining to do about his recent actions.
Yeah, and we'll get into that, but right now let's tell you about our great sponsor, Collar and Elbow. Guys, the winter stuff's out, man. John, have you been on? There is a sweet Nasty Boys shirt. The painted up and all the decorations, Collar and Elbow now. A lot of other cool new ones. I'm probably going to get a Nasty Boy one. That moves to the top of the list. I knew you weren't a Nasty Boy fan, but their paint and everything is kind of old school.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a pretty sweet looking sweatshirt. I have just a hoodie on my Christmas list. I didn't make any specifications as to which one. So we'll see what my wife gets me. Maybe she'll get me the Nasty Boys hoodie. We'll see.
We could go to a party together then. I want to be Brian Knobs.
We could. Yeah, that's fine. I'll be Jerry Sags. I feel like I'm more Sags than Knobs.
All right. Guys, we have a promo code. John, what is it?
It is Can Crushers, all one word. Capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers. When you use that, you'll save some money, right, Mark?
You save 10%. Right?
That is correct. That is correct. Yep, you'll save 10%. And if you get enough goodies, that could equal shipping. So use that promo code, Can Crushers. Capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers, all one word to save 10% on your Collar and Elbow order.
And coming up right now is Al Snow, and we'll be back with A1 Anthony Young.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, And this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
And welcome back, Can Crushers listeners. It is I, the English professor, joined by your host, Mark the Mark Martinez. And this week's Spotlight features a 2020 IWC Rookie of the Year candidate, A1 Anthony Young. A1, welcome to Can Crusher Spotlight.
Thank you for having me. How are you guys doing?
We're doing okay, and it's our pleasure to have you. Listen, Mark has a lot of what we'll call like the slow pitch questions, and we will certainly get to those.
What?
But there's some business we need to attend to here. And before we jump right into December 5th, the Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling Classic, let's go back to the previous card. IWC Homecoming, November 7th. You took on, I believe it was you and Angelic, one-on-one. Good match. Very good match, actually. Yeah. But if you've listened the last couple of weeks or so, Mark and I have talked about, there are no style points. It's wins and losses. I don't mean any offense by this. You haven't racked up a ton of wins. You've been putting on some great matches, but you haven't racked up a ton of wins. But I want to talk about what happened after the match. Tag team champions, Money Shot, individually known as a Sure Shot, Zach Nystrom and the Man Dime Elijah Dean. They're on their way to the ring. You're on your way out of the ring. And I believe it's the Sure Shot. He puts his towel on your shoulder and kind of gives you, an attaboy pat or something. Take me through what's going through your mind. How did you digest that? I have to imagine you're a pretty prideful wrestler. How did that sit with you? This guy just throwing his towel on your shoulder and saying, all right, now get lost, kid. Take this to the locker room for me.
I mean, going back November 7th, looking back on it, I listened to your guys' last podcast where you guys said it was kind of like disrespect, whereas I personally don't see it that way. Mandime, he walked up to me, told me better days are coming. Nystrom gave me his towel. Like I mentioned before, me and Nystrom trained together a little bit before he ended up joining Team Big League. So I took that towel back to the locker room, and over and over in my head, I just kept thinking about me and Nystrom's career path was kind of in the same stratosphere, I would say. Him tagging with Spencer, getting a win every here and there. There was really nothing moving forward for him at the time, which was myself. Like you said, there's no style points. And needless to say, I don't try to win, but I do. You're not going to win just by giving off the best match every time. That's all it counts is wins and losses. And that's what Money Shot's been doing. They've been winning. So, and later on, Dime, as you guys saw in the video, he told me to think about it, and I did.
Okay, so clearly, Mark, that was a bit of a misinterpretation, I guess,
from us
on our part.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't pick up on Elijah Dean saying better days are ahead. So, all right, now let's go to the Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling Classic. Tag team title match, ladder match between Money Shot and the main event. Looks like the main event's going to defend. The lights go out. They come back on. And there's a guy in the ring wearing a mask. And marks like us are quickly coming up with theories about who we think is under the mask. And then it turns out to be A1 Anthony Young. Anthony, take us through this process. Who thought this up? Was it the Mandine? Was this part of his plot? Was it John McChesney talking to you guys about this? Who thought this up?
I mean, originally I wasn't booked for the Pro Wrestling Classic, which in my eyes was a sign of not necessarily disrespect, but just okay, you did good this year, we'll see you next year. And I didn't take that too well. And that's where I came back to Dime saying, think about it. And I realized I wasn't booked, but they had a match, and he made me an offer. So if I was going to join, I need to impact the team in a big way or make the show overall impact.
That's a great point, John. That's a great point to think of it, that he wasn't on the show. And we didn't talk about that, him not being on the show. How did that flip our minds?
Yeah, that's a great point. He was not on the show. Yeah, not booked for a match, despite lot of good matches during the course of the year. So that obviously, you said you didn't take that necessarily as a sign of disrespect, but I'm sure it didn't sit well with you either.
No, I took it more so like a kind of almost like a spit in the face. Like during the entire quarantine, like if you think about like IWC in history, I was like, it's my rookie year, the first outdoor show or first show back from like during COVID, I was in the main event for a triple threat Super Indy title match. The first time we come back indoors, homecoming, the first match of the card, me and Angelic. So I main evented the first COVID show and opened up the first back indoor show. And like time and time again this year, I've been tested and tested and tested with big spots. And I necessarily haven't always come up with the win, but I've probably delivered more than what was expected of me. So I was building what I thought was a Rookie of the Year resume, and I was going to try to cap it off by winning the Pro Wrestling Classic or the Scramble, whatever it may have been. But once again, I was not booked.
So do we blame this on Plummer? Because we like blaming a lot of stuff on Plummer, A1. You hear it week in and week out. Is this a shot at Justin Plummer?
I mean, it's just not necessarily a shot at Plummer or anybody for that match. It's a shot at whoever books the cards. I'm not too informed on who does that, but they knew where they could have found me at.
Yeah, when you look at that match, Mark, not taking anything away from anybody that was in it, keep it as is, but add A1 to the mix, and it's a whole different dynamic.
It is. It really is. And A1 and Slade possibly could have crossed paths in that scramble.
That would have been interesting to see. Yeah. A1, are you worried at all about this can of worms that you may have opened up? Because the main event are pretty big, strong guys, and I have to think they're looking for you.
Not really worried because at the end of the day, if you think about it, Team Big League, even though there's only been Dime and Nystrom for the most part so for this year, there's 4 of us. There's only 2 at Team E. They may be big, but there's 4 of us. There's McChesney, Nystrom, Dime, myself, that's the 4. And the X Factor sometimes could be Dime Piece depending on what happens. So, strength in numbers.
Sometimes. Nick Lendl was saying that she was a non-factor this whole time since it was a ladder match, and you find out that she's actually your priority number 1 in that match for Money Shot to get the win, but sidebar, Dime Piece is there. If she didn't take the lump from the ladder, it wouldn't have given everybody a shot for you to shine.
Yeah, we maybe don't get to Anthony Young if Dime Piece doesn't do what she needs to do first. It's a good point, Mark.
Let's do a little bit of rewind, though, A1. We'll get back to some IWC stuff here in a bit, but let's learn a little bit more about you and get some of the silly stuff that we like to do here on Can Crusher Spotlight out of the way as well. Who introduced you to wrestling as a little A1? Were you just A back then, or were you still A1?
I've always been A1.
Okay.
Everything I do, I try to do with pride to my best ability. But my earliest memory of wrestling was 2002. I don't remember how it was, but I was sitting with my dad on the couch, and like I was doing whatever 4-year-olds, 3-year-olds do at the time. And I look over at the TV and I see that 4-way TLC match from Raw, and I was like, this is amazing. This is crazy. And then after that, I didn't see any wrestling somehow until 2006 when D-Generation X reformed. And then from that point on, that's like consistently started watching wrestling.
So do you think that DX formed you more or less in everything?
Not really. I was more so like, at first I was like, okay, like I saw a lot of like what they were doing as a like segment wise as opposed to their wrestling, and it was more of a like, okay, like this wrestling stuff is kind of cool. Then I actually like started like watching matches. I think the first match was like again a Jeff Hardy match or something. And I was just like, okay, like this like show of athleticism, like craziness, is just like it's just amazing. It's better than most sports in my mind.
Well said. Well said. So you brought up Hardy. Both Hardys are probably some of your favorites. Tell us some more, and who was the one that actually, AJ Styles, somebody like that is who I would compare you to. Is that along the lines of who A1 is built after?
I don't really build myself after anyone specifically, but my top 5 wrestlers, I would probably say I try to blend my style of. It's probably Will Ospreay over in New Japan, AJ Styles, a little Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, and then Noam Dar / Brian Kendrick.
Oh,
Those are my
wow.
top 5, 6.
Brian Kendrick getting the call on Can Crushers this week. What was the deciding factors, we run through some of these quickly, that you actually got into it? Because going through high school and everything, yeah, it's a pipe dream of mine, and John's and Chad when he was on the show. But what was it when you said, damn it, I'm going to go through with this?
I actually didn't, I knew about independent wrestling growing up a little bit, once I 13, 14, I would just see random clips on YouTube. And I think it was 2017, IWC had a show in Royal Valley, and I was doing nothing. I was like, I guess I might as well go do it. I went to go to a show. I think the first match was Chris LaRusso versus Darren De Niro. And then after that, they advertised Unbreakable after. I didn't go to that, and I went to Winner Takes All. And then that was whenever I was like, okay, this place is pretty cool. And then I think it was a year later is when I decided to I was looking for a training school, and I remembered IWC, and I was like, oh, let's do this.
Was the Royal Valley show, was that the one that we got skirted out there rather quickly because there was a tornado sighting legit down the road or something? I know at Royal Valley at one point there was a tornado sighting, and we were like, get the hell out of here, we gotta leave. Was it that one?
I'm not actually sure. It might have. It was 2017. I know that. I don't remember because I know they do a couple there.
Yeah. Phew. Yeah.
Take us through some of the training that goes on, and if you've had training elsewhere too. I don't know if you have or not, but if you can kind of could compare them, because it seems like the men and women that come out of IWC's training come out ready. It's kind of sometimes hard to believe some of you guys are rookies or sophomores because of the amazing things you're doing in the ring. So I guess I'm asking, have you had training elsewhere? And if you have, kind of compare the two?
No, I only trained wrestling wise, IWC. I've played a couple sports growing up, so sports conditioning training, but it doesn't compare.
Why did you pick, this is a question I always ask, why did you pick IWC, without, you could have went to OVW, you could have went to Seth Rollins's, so, the millions of them that are out there, but why IWC? The history?
No, to be honest, I went to IWC because I was still in college in Pittsburgh, and that's where I'm from, so I was I always hear people saying oh, they moved states to train and everything. I was obviously there are different schools out there, advantages and disadvantages to all of them, but I was I've been to IWC, everything on their part seems good. I feel this would be a good place to invest in, so that's where I made the call.
Take us through, I guess, day one, because you say there's no comparison. You said that a couple of times. You've been involved in other sports, but there's really no comparison. What separates pro wrestling training from anything else you've done?
I think it's kind of almost like sports, high school sports, but it's kind of the next level in a way. It's more so there's obviously there's your classmates that cheer you on, but in sports it's all your entire teammates are gonna cheer you on because the team's only as strong as its weakest link. But in wrestling it's more of a self battle because everybody's out for that spot, and it's if you don't want that spot, if you take it easy or slack, someone else is gonna step up next to you and take that spot. They're not gonna cheer you on and be hey, come on. No, they're gonna be okay, he's messing up, this is my opportunity to shine. So you kind of have to tell yourself you want to be the best. You can't let anybody take that away from you.
On that same thing that John kind of talked about, after day 1, day 5, day 10, was there ever a thought in your mind to say, whew, this is definitely tougher than I thought?
I would say it's tougher than I thought because I knew just the way wrestling is. I knew the training would have to be something crazy as well. But it got progressively easier. But at the same time, there was also a couple of times where it was just a shock to the system. Everything be different.
What's your favorite part of training? Do you like doing the bumps? Clearly you're a flyer, but is there something that you really enjoy more than running the ropes?
I mean, I'd say my favorite part is like just going to like the practice range, just like doing a springboard, doing something, just like creating something, or like growing up, like I would see like clips of like certain things I would see other wrestlers I like idolize, like do like or crazy. And I'm like, I don't know how this is even possible. And like later on down the line, like now, like I'll do it, and I'm like, it's just mind blowing.
Almost like Johnny's Patch's flip in the cage a year and a half ago. Like that was pretty amazing. Do you have a spot that you want to pull off here in the near future without giving it away?
Not that comes to mind, but I mean, who knows whenever the next time we'll have a show, so I have all the time in the world to plan stuff out, figure something out.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. We are trying to stay away from that. That kind of sucks. As definitely January probably will not be a show, and who the hell knows where else. But all right, let's step away from wrestling a little bit. Let's get to know A1 a little bit more, as we got some stupid questions that we pulled out of the deck. What's your guilty pleasure?
I would say video games, but I don't know. I'm only 22, so I feel like that's just like that's what you kind of do when you're 22. It's like it's just there.
Dude, I'm 43, and I just downloaded NHL 21 tonight because it was on sale, so I cannot wait to play it. What, John? We're talking about video games now.
No, I know. And you asked him what a guilty pleasure is. I'm willing to bet you don't even have a cheat day. You're in incredible shape, and you sound very committed. There's a story of Mark, the Ultimate Warrior, where he just wanted Chips Ahoy cookies so badly, he opened the package and he sniffed them at a gas station when he was pumping gas. He sniffed the cookies and threw the cookies away. That sounds to me like an A1 thing. Like you wouldn't even allow yourself to have a Chips Ahoy cookie. Am I right about that, or do you indulge once in a while?
Oh, I do not watch what I eat. If I did.
Really? What?
I don't.
Wow. Okay, I'm surprised. You're in amazing shape.
It's more so just working out, and like wrestling training, just a lot of conditioning. So it's like I eat bad kind of, but not bad enough to where it's gonna like badly impact me. Like I consciously watch what I eat, but like I don't really limit myself from any foods.
So you're saying you don't eat as bad as John or I?
Yeah. I mean,
somewhere in between the Ultimate Warrior and me and you, Mark.
Right.
Is A1's diet. Okay, go ahead.
Back to video games, because that subject, what are you playing right now? What's your go-to game?
My go-to game, I've been playing the new Call of Duty Cold War a lot. I play a lot of MLB The Show, FIFA. I recently just downloaded Cyberpunk, so I mean, I don't necessarily know what type of game it is. I've been trying to watch Twitch streams of it to figure it out, so I just decided I'm just going to figure it out for myself.
MLB The Show. John and I were actually talking about this before we started recording. I just created a new player, got picked up by the Mets. I love the road to the show. Side note, we threw him under the bus, but you know Justin Plummer plays MLB The Show, and maybe we can all get a game going together sometime.
I didn't even know that, but now that you told me, I might have to talk to him about that. I just play a lot of Diamond Dynasty though. Like I have so many hours in that game mode.
PlayStation 5, are you in line to get one?
Still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, me too.
Still trying to wait on drops, see people selling them around if I can find them for a good price. It's not happened so far.
What's your high price that you're willing to pay for one right now?
Probably like 650, 700. Like 650 hard, 700 maybe if I get desperate enough.
My wife would kill me. Outright kill me. I have to look for one on sale at like Goodwill before I'm allowed getting one. What are your parents most disappointed in you about?
I mean, I don't know.
There's got to be something.
I don't think necessarily disappointed, but like I know my dad wasn't too like fond of me like leaving school and then starting wrestling. But I mean, after like seeing how my career's progressed, I feel like he's more happy at how things turned out.
Right. That's a great answer. That really is. He's going to see you, IWC guys. If you're just listening for the first time, we have A1 Anthony Young right now. IWC has ties all over, 2 big ties in AEW. So maybe we could see you flying around there sometime soon, huh?
I hope. I've seen Dime on Dark. Didn't work out too well, but hey, it's always second time for him.
He was all clowned up too.
You mentioned your father. Has he been to some of the matches? We've seen some of the parents of the wrestlers there. Have your family come to see you wrestle?
Oh yeah, my dad's been to every show so far this year.
Wow, that's great.
This you can take either way. Which living person do you most despise? You could take it as a wrestling angle, or you could take it as a normal human being.
I don't know. Probably despise. I mean, that's a strong word.
It's a strong word.
Not really fond of Johnny Patch. Not really.
Wow. We've had a lot of Johnny Patch haters come on Can Crushers. We really have.
I don't know what it is. We've met him. He seems like a nice enough guy, but yeah, you're right, Mark.
I don't know. What's one bad habit you're trying to get rid of in 2021 besides COVID?
Probably cleaning up my diet.
How? All right, I know you touched on it, but my God, you're built like the baby Rock. You're fine. You're fine, for the love of God.
I just don't have the discipline for meal prepping. It's just...
You're going to have to get online and do those ordering things then, apparently.
That's what I've been thinking about.
Right? Maybe we'll have to get a discount code and you'll have to take advantage of it for us as well, right?
Mind that. Save me money.
Yeah. If you could undo one moment in your life, what would it be? At the age of 22, since you're so long in the tooth.
Taking probably... I feel like maybe waiting so long to decide to go to IWC for wrestling, like training wise. Like I feel like if I started maybe a year sooner, like things would just be so much different.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
We bring up Johnny Patch a lot because you brought him up. Look at him right now in his sophomore slump. You'd be in that same category as him. But look at Dime. Dime kind of had a shitty freshman year. And now he's rolling with the punches, and you're along with that team.
Exactly.
For 1 year in, though, I don't think you're doing so badly. I think you're doing pretty darn well. Mark alluded to this earlier. We don't really know what's going on in January or February and moving forward. What will you do to keep busy from a wrestling standpoint? How will you stay in wrestling shape, as they say?
Probably just go for runs around my block, watch a lot of film, keep the mind sharp. I mean, Wrestle Kingdom's coming up in about a month, so I'm pretty excited to watch that.
Yeah. I can't wait to watch that. That good segue, by the way. As you said, you're going to watch a lot of film. Who are you watching? How far do you go back? Like, are you watching anybody from the 80s, flying around, some Ricky Steamboat, stuff like that? Current stuff? Like, what's your go-to watch?
I cannot watch anything, I can't watch any 80s wrestling at all. Nystrom grills me all the time. I can't do it.
Why?
It's just, I don't know. I can't.
So it's all current?
It's more so, I'd say 97 and up, but, there's a couple, pre-97, early 90s, mid-90s, matches I'll pop into, or, things I'll check out.
Anybody in particular?
Right now or, recently?
Both.
Probably a lot of Ospreay, AJ Styles, Chris Jericho from, around 2008-ish, Shawn Michaels feud.
Okay.
Going back, rewatching that.
Okay. I want to know this. I want to know this Nystrom story. Why he's pumping 80s into you and you won't take advantage of that? Why? Like, there's got to be something to that. I'm going to keep digging.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like, it's like, I feel like it's because 97, like, I mean, Nystrom and me are the same age, roughly. So it's like, it's just different because me, it's like, I'm watching like 97, 98, 96, seeing like what wrestling, like, it's kind of like how people go back. It's like, oh, what was the world like around the time I was born? Because like they were a baby, so they don't really remember or wasn't able to experience at the time. That's how I kind of am with wrestling right now, where it's like, I feel like, I don't know, Nystrom just has a different mindset than me, but when you have different mindsets in a team like Team Big League, kind of makes everything better. Everybody brings something to the table.
Yeah, that is a great point. So we see what they bring to the table. Obviously, they're the tag team champions. John McChesney's resume speaks for itself. What will A1 bring to this group?
A Super Indie title.
Wow, that's huge right off the bat. There was no even thinking about that.
Nope.
Goals in the next 5 years. Like, where do you want to get overseas? Do you want to, be climbing that mountain to get to Impact, AEW, WWE, all of those? What's your 5-year goal?
Hopefully COVID doesn't stretch too far into 2021 so we can actually have shows again. But
Again,
in 5 years, in 5 years, I'm like, my goal so far is either to be overseas or on TV in either a couple times or full time in any capacity.
Money is not. You're going to get $100 million from either Impact, WWE, or AEW. So the money's the same. Where do you sign right now? If there was a gun to your head, which we don't condone, but if there's a gun to your head, $100 million on the table, and you have 3 contracts, which one do you pick?
It's very easy. AEW.
Why?
I knew it.
Oh, yeah, clearly. But why?
Actually, I'll take that back. Impact, because I grew up watching a lot of Impact. Like, it was like Spike TV, like the Christian Cage, Sting, all that era right there, when Kurt Angle first joined. And like the history with that, the X Division, all that, the kind of like stuff I grew up on. Plus, also they're kind of, I guess, in a partnership or agreement with AEW, so I guess it'd be like, I could get 2 for 1 right there.
Yeah. Right. You could get 2 for 1 with AEW as well, going over to Impact. I think that's going to be a strong force to reckon with. You have time to sit down and watch wrestling. How much of today's wrestling are you watching, and what's your go-to one to not miss?
See, I actually don't watch any like wrestling live for the most part. Like,
I don't either.
Like, I usually, like, I'll go back and watch like the next day or like during the weekend. Like, during the week, I'll like have it on, but like I won't really be paying too much attention because I'll be doing other stuff, catching up on like business stuff. So there's stuff where it's can't miss, but like it's can't miss is like at my earliest convenience, I'll watch it then.
Yeah, DVR is amazing. We're still trying to sell John on getting a DVR. Like, it's 2021 more or less. Nobody needs to sit and watch 3 hours of Raw when you can watch it in 15 minutes and get the gist of it.
Yeah, I like doing it the old-fashioned way. I'm old-fashioned. What can I say?
God, you're just here. You're just here for the business. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
A1. What's the best advice you got in your first year of wrestling? Have it be from McChesney. Have you spoken to him yet, or anybody else in the back?
There's a quote from one of my trainers that he got from another personality and wrestling trainer, coach, whatever his title may be. I'm not completely sure, but it goes something like, you have 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth. Use them in that order.
That's great advice.
That is great advice.
That's great advice for whatever you do in life.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's life advice. That really is.
Yeah.
John, do you have anything?
So we kind of touched on what you're going to do to kind of stay in shape. I wanted to ask you as far as like ring rust goes. I know you said you want to train, you want to watch videos, you want to run around the block a few times. At some point, don't you have to get your hands on another wrestler so that you don't get rusty? Is there any opportunity you think for getting together with a training partner just so you kind of stay on top of things in that regard?
Possibly. I don't necessarily know. I mean, like everybody has ring rust, but I mean, during the first like lockdown, it was I didn't really have any ring rust after being off that long. It was more so of just like how can I put this? It was more like for that 3 months being away, the ring rust went away relatively fast, like I'd say in a week or so. So 3 weeks to a month, who knows? I don't think it'll really be that much of an issue.
Do you think
it's like second nature at this point, I feel like almost.
Yeah, I guess that kind of answers my question. I was going to ask you if you think you're a natural. It seems like you took to the training quickly. And we've said it, your matches, not just for a first-year wrestler, for any year wrestler, they're awesome. You could do the high-flying stuff. You could do the technical wrestling. You think this is your calling? You're just kind of a natural.
Pretty much. I mean, I would say like that. This is always what I've like envisioned myself in being. Like, and it was like one of those dreams that seemed unrealistic, but like at the same time, it was like something I really wanted. Whereas like before I found about independent wrestling and IWC, it was like I'm gonna make this happen. I just don't know how to yet.
Okay, all right, John. Any?
That answers my question.
Okay. Yeah, I saw you moving your mouth, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe one more thing's coming out of it. Do you believe, A1, that joining Money Shot Team Big League is definitely, to get back to IWC even more, your stamp for Rookie of the Year? Because it's one of the biggest impacts on the year.
I mean, that'll decide on fans. It's either they appreciate what I've been doing, or they're going to turn into a popularity contest. And they're going to be like, yay, we appreciate what you've done. You're Rookie of the Year. Or they're going to be like, boo, we hate you for joining Team Big League, so we're not going to vote for you. And if that's how they feel, then that's how they feel.
Well, you're going to have the Bradley brothers out there. Yes, without a doubt, you're going to have those people that are going to boo you now. And speaking to you prior to this, I said this was a wonderful thing that you did. Joining Team Big League is just going to continue to push your career farther and farther. You've dodged my question, though. Have you spoken to Mr. McChesney yet?
Let's just keep that a secret for right now. I'll keep you guys guessing.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. I wanted to ask you to follow up on the Rookie of the Year. Taking a look at some of your competition, you got Carter, Apollo, I guess maybe even Ella Shea, right, Mark?
And Chase Gold.
And Chase Gold, yeah. You mentioned a popularity contest. If we're not making this a popularity contest, if we're not mad at you for joining Money Shot and Team Big League, strictly on your body of work versus theirs, is this a no contest? Is this a slam dunk for A1?
Pretty much. I mean, the only out of those people, I would like out of all the rookies this year, I would say number 2, the closest one is Carter, just because like me, he's been tested in like big situations since his debut.
Wow. Nothing against Cole Carter, but I would have to disagree. Ella Shea already on the running board of having title shots and making waves in the women's division, but that's we can agree to disagree there. I don't want you mad at me.
I'm with Anthony Young on this one. Carter is a distant second. It's A1 all the way, but Carter's a distant second.
So, A1, I know you're getting ready to go run around the block or whatever, but a couple more questions. Bucket list. I know we talked about 5 years, but I want your bucket list, and then I want your dream match. So don't give me the dream match in your bucket list, because we'll get there. So what's your bucket list overall in life?
I mean, I haven't made one, but like I could give you some things, but like how many are we talking? 3, 5, like
Five. Five's a great number.
Not in any order, but one is probably to go overseas to Japan, go to Mexico for wrestling is number 2. Number 3 would probably be somewhere later on in life, like in the next 10, 15 years, maybe be a Triple Crown in IWC because there's only been 1 or 2, I think, and that'd be historic.
That would be.
Or would to go to skydiving because I actually didn't go this year for my birthday, but it was one of the things where as time got closer, I was like, I don't really care as much anymore, but I definitely want to.
Is there a place you want to skydive? Hold on. Is there one place that like you want to skydive into or anything?
Not really. I just wanted to do it. I'm like kind of afraid of heights, but like I feel like I've always like heard this philosophy like to get rid of a fear, you have to experience it at like the highest degree, and I feel like that would be that.
Well, yeah, what the hell is higher than jumping out of a plane to your death? John, would you skydive?
No, but I was going to say this guy flips head over heels out of the ring, and he's talking about fear of heights, and that would scare the hell out of me. Not that I could do it, not that I could even get the running start necessary to flip head over heels out of the ring, but you're doing stuff now that scares us, A1.
I mean, like, flipping and everything, like, it's not like a fear necessarily of heights. I guess it'd be like a fear of falling, because, like, even roller coasters, I don't really enjoy that much. Like, I'm not afraid of them, but it's just, like, the feeling, like, of the roller coaster, like, going down, like, the motion sickness, I guess you could say. Like, my stomach, when the roller coaster goes down, my stomach goes up, and I hate it every time.
Well, I don't know anything about skydiving, and I'm going to keep it here for a minute. How high do you go up for skydiving?
I don't know. I know it's pretty high. I've read stuff and I'm like, okay, like, I mean, it's like, it's what you'd expect. Like, it's not like, I don't think there's levels to how high you can go up. I mean, I'm sure there might be, but I feel like there's a standard level.
Right, there's got to be a standard level. I agree, but you speak about your fear of falling. Let's just say 1,500 feet, just to say it's 1,500 feet. You're falling for 1,499 of those, for the love of God, before your feet hit the ground. That's what you're scared of. That's ludicrous. That's something I would never think about. No money included. What, John? You're going to bring
it's 10,000 feet. It's 10. I just looked it up.
F that.
The average altitude is 10,000 feet of a skydive. That's crazy.
Yeah. And we're talking about being able to jump in and out of the ring.
Yeah. All right. What are we talking about? Bucket list.
Yes. He got them all, didn't you?
Oh, he did. That was it?
Yeah.
That was 4. I can't think of a 5th one, so I'll just leave it at that.
Well, then good. This will just transition over to your dream match. And you know we have stipulations about this. Who would be your dream match? It could be alive or dead. Where? And I don't want to hear Pittsburgh. I want to hear, like, Madison Square Garden or this Sportatorium in Dallas. Not that you know what the hell that is. And then I want a stipulation in the match.
I mean, for a stipulation, it'd probably be just singles, like 1-on-1, or like it wouldn't be like any special stipulation. Dream match, though.
All right.
What do you think?
We should prep you guys with these questions, I think, from now on. Because Katie had a hell of a time, too.
There's like 2 dream matches. Like, I would say like one big match, but like I know the more people you tend to add to a match, the like diminishes like the value of it. So dream match number 1, I mean, they're both they're both triple threats or 4-ways. It'd be me, AJ Styles, and Will Ospreay in a triple threat match. Probably either in Madison Square Garden or the Tokyo Dome in Japan. And the other one would be me versus Jericho versus Brian Kendrick. Probably in Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
2020 Jericho or like 1998 Jericho. I mean, you can pull them out of history too if you wanted to.
My favorite Jericho is probably like 99, like to 2001 Jericho.
Yeah. Y2J Jericho.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you picked that one. I really am. You could have went great with the Lion Tamer Jericho though too. He would have been fine. So, all right, A1, let's wrap this up. But you are now a member of Money Shot Team Big League. Wrestling is on pause, but when it comes back, what do we see from Team Big League in IWC? Total Domination is a definite, but give us something.
Like I said, I'm going to bring a Super Indie title to Team Big League somewhere in 2021. Take note of this right now, so when it happens, we can share the picture of me holding the belt in the ring with this audio playing in the background. But as for Team Big League as a whole, we're going to bring more wins and more championships.
2021, do we see Dime Piece get in the ring?
If we get bored enough of dominating IWC, we'll have her go for the women's title.
Wow. Those are huge words.
Yeah, those are some lofty goals.
All right, A1, tell everybody where they can find you. And I have one more question after you do your shtick for your social media as well. So let's touch on your social media. Where can they find you? Where they can follow you? When are your names going to be on some shirts?
Man, as of right now, I have 2 shirts available on my Pro Wrestling Tees, but I think during this month or 2 months, I'm gonna sit down and try to work out some designs and whatnot. I've been procrastinating that, especially because there's been no intermissions. I haven't really been doing too much, like worried about the online sales. I'd rather just like wait till we have intermission, make everything easier for myself.
Right.
But as for my socials, ayoung1_ on Twitter, and then a1.young on Instagram.
If you're looking for somebody to do a great design, I can drop you a name after we get off air. I know a great guy. He's a hardcore icon. He can really help you out.
I think I know who you're talking about. I forgot about him.
Yeah. Last question, and we'll let you go. Are we keeping a stash for all of 2021?
Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I usually get a haircut before the week of the show, and then that's when I decide what I would do with my facial hair.
I think you should keep it. I really think you should keep it. It solidifies you as big in Team Big League.
Yeah, I like to think of us as the Yankees right now.
Oh, wow. John, you should gloat about that.
I'm a huge Yankee fan. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a Yankees fan, but I can respect what they do. I'm actually a Dodgers fan myself.
That's who you play with on MLB, the Dodgers, aren't you?
Love the Dodgers.
Ugh. John?
Yeah, they're my National League team. I love the Dodgers too, for obvious reasons.
All right.
The connection in New York they used to have. But anyway,
yeah,
I can go off on a tangent about that. Never mind.
Yeah. All right, everyone, we'll let you go. Thanks for stopping by here on Can Crushers this week, and I hope to see you soon. I hope this COVID thing is wrapped up by February so IWC can come back. Guys, if you're looking for IWC, IWCnetwork.com, $9.99 a month, and you can see all of A1's matches.
Like he said, $9.99 a month, all my matches, the entire Rookie of the Year run since 2020 is over, so is my rookie year.
We learned a lot of good information about A1 Anthony Young during the course of the interview, Mark. We found out, I asked why he made the decision he made to join Money Shot Team Big League, and he gave us the answers, and he gave us the answers to what his goals are. First and foremost is the Super Indie title. And we also touched on his wrestling style, which there's a lot of high-flying action going on in an A1 match, but there's also a lot of good, solid mat wrestling. When you watch some of his matches with the exchange of holds, it reminds me a little bit of a Ric Flair, Rick Steamboat match from '89, that trilogy of matches. which we know, of course, A1 won't watch because they're from the 80s, and he doesn't watch that stuff.
Well, he wouldn't give us a real answer on that, and it kind of annoyed me that, like, why wouldn't you go back to listen to Ricky Morton and Flair and those guys? That was some of the last time that there was white heat in the business, and making
maybe he thinks
turn.
it's corny.
Yeah.
WWF was corny. WWF was corny.
That's why
that's what he's thinking.
Well, that's why I said Ricky Morton, Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez talked about it on his Spotlight. Like, he could learn from them. God, tell me A1 with that stash wouldn't be a great Rick Rude.
Yeah.
He's not sure if he's going to keep the stash. Like, that's what I took out of this. That bothers me. Like, he reminds me of, what is it, Snidely now? From, the cartoons?
Oh, yeah.
You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
I do. No, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he should keep it, too.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, we'll twist his arm, and he will. He talked about some of his favorites. We kind of had him pinpointed there. AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Ospreay, So
Shawn Michaels came to mind for me. His style, and I figured he would be one of A1's favorites.
Right.
We're good at this, Mark.
We are. We're getting better.
Yeah.
You know, season 4, we're finally taking over. It's about damn time, right?
Yeah.
Great interview all around. Like, this could be a part 2 in 2021. He straps that Super Indy title on his waist or up there. We got to have him back on.
Yeah, absolutely. If he wins that belt, then we need to have him back on and say, you know what? You're a man of your word. You said you were going to win this belt, and you won it. So if he wins it, I think we need to reach out to him again. Maybe by then he'll be too big for his britches and won't want to come back on our show. I don't know.
I hope not. But then he also said, John, how, Money Shot of Diamond Nystrom, they have the tag titles. He would be Super Indy. They've pretty much have taken over. Maybe you get Dime Piece in the ring then.
Yeah, he did say that. Do I believe that? I guess we'll see. I'm a big Katie Arquette fan, and until I'm shown otherwise, I kind of think Katie Arquette would have her way with her. But maybe the Dime Piece will prove me wrong.
Training, John. She's got a lot of training. 2021 is a long way away in the wrestling business, as I do my air quotes to get the quota in for that. But seems like he's got a chip against Johnny Patch as well.
Yeah, not the first guy either. I don't know what it is. We alluded to this during the interview. I don't know what it is about Johnny Patch.
I don't know. John, I'm bummed because as everybody is talking about on this, everything is going to come to a grinding halt now as, well, during the recording it is not. But by the time the recording is published, it will be at a grinding halt. Everything will be shut down again. Man, that really sucks. But I'll say it again, guys, go back. IWC Network, $9.99 a month. You'll get all A1's matches. You'll get everything back for, I believe it's up to 15 years now, and it's $10 a month to watch the likes of Wardlow, Britt Baker, Tracy Smothers that we lost earlier this year. Honky Tonk Man's there. CM Punk. The list goes on, have all been through IWC. If you haven't checked it out yet, get the hell out of the hole or out of your mother's basement.
It's an amazing promotion. It really is. And we cover a lot of their cards on our show here, rightfully so. They're an awesome promotion. And as you said, Mark, watch A1's matches because this kid's a special talent. He really is.
Yeah. All right, guys. Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, it's all at CanCrusher69. Send us some messages at cancrusher69@gmail.com. And John, remember, just because you're trash
doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.